Qissa is a detailed, intricately crafted film. Written and directed by Anup Singh, it blends elements from folk tales and fantasy to tell a story of loss, displacement, and identity. The partition of India is the backdrop of the story, and the conflict and breakdown of society is mirrored by the internal conflicts and breakdowns of the characters themselves. Qissa is rich with Indian influences and is strongly rooted in Punjab. It is an Indo German production and it's far superior to most contemporary Indian cinema in its technical aspects, such as cinematography, art direction, editing, and its use of color. Qissa holds your attention with both its technical sophistication and storytelling. Both work together to give the film a haunted feeling, leaving you uneasy and displaced. The color palette is a very prominent feature of the movie, and the primary colors used are yellow, black, blue, and teal. Occasionally, white and red lighten up an otherwise tragic film. Yellow and black are used for a lot of sequences with pivotal events where we see the fates of the characters developing. They are also used when bringing up darker or more complex personality traits. Thus, the scenes hinting at communal violence, Ambar's abuse of his children, and Kanwar coming to terms with his identity and orientation are all primarily yellow and black. Stunning sequences with white and red show moments of happiness or a gentle break from the intensity of the rest of the film. Dark blue, light blue, and teal are all used to bring the focus off individual characters and back to the story. Sequences with these colors are generally used when characters are introspective and there isn't a lot of direct conflict. Dark blue has been used to situate characters, especially in frames accompanying the magical realist elements of the film. The magical realism of the film explains why it is subtitled The Story of a Lonely Ghost. Its supernatural side is never explained, but is an allegory for loneliness, a fractured spirit, and no sense of self. Kanwar's gender dysmorphia mirrors the breakdown of nationalist identity in 1947, and its lack of steady resolution mirrors the same thing today. Qissa literally means fable, and one can imagine how this fable was created to explain the trauma of partition. Fables explain thought, they depict events and how we react to them. Fables and legends have an element of history, and with time, magical and supernatural elements get added, distorting our view of history. After a point, they're inseparable. A lot, then, is left to the imagination of the audience. Fables also demand a strong emotional involvement from a society, and this emotional involvement often plays a role in preserving the sentiments or perception of the original event. Kanwar and Ambar are both lost characters in these tales, looking for a way to understand themselves and the places and forms in which they find themselves. One can imagine Kanwar as a lonely ghost at a window, lonely in trauma, lonely because there is no place to belong, lonely in place, mind, socialization, and personality. Not until Kanwar is taken over by his father's spirit, a very male spirit, does he finally belong to a social order. However, his identity is now completely taken over, and he is still as far away from happiness as he used to be. On the surface level, the film is about gender dysmorphia and a confused sense of sexuality. However, the broader strokes of the film show that it is largely about a bigger sense of dysmorphia and an attempt to find identity and stability, while the places, people, and society around you are equally fractured. As Anup Singh mentions in an interview later, the film is about the divisions between a country and religions, then between a family and genders, but eventually about reality and fantasy.